Guys, welcome to a brand new review. Today we're not talking about a movie. No, we're talking about a TV show that debuted last year that I finally got to watch. And this is a show I've been putting off for a very long time. I've had so many opportunities to watch it, but with TV being so much, I'm very specific with which shows I watch. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, how the fuck did you never watch this show? You watch Walking Dead all the time. Okay, given Walking Dead is not as good as it used to be, but I'm a big fan of the comics, so besides the point. Handmaid's Tale. Yes, it looks like an Amish girl. That's what I thought for the longest time, that this was an Amish show. I had no idea what the show was about. Put it on, seeing all the awards love it's getting, I'm like, okay, there has to be something special about the show. Watch it. I totally see what's special about this show. This show is awesome. And I mean, I finished it 2-3 days ago, and I've been sitting on the show because I'm wanting to see, like, does it actually resonate to me that much? Yeah. It resonates to me. It is a fantastic show, top to bottom, 1 to 10. The episodes are grand. It does have its problems, which I'll get to in a second, but I want to talk about the show, because again, I'm not the only person that thought this was an Amish show. More people I talk about. I've been wanting to tell people more about the show and praise the show, and I go and tell people, oh yeah, have you ever seen Handmaid's Tale? And they're like, is that the Amish show on Hulu? I'm like, yes, it's on Hulu. It's an exclusive. But it's not an Amish show, I promise you. And most people have now tried it and seen that it's not. And for people wondering, well, what is it if it's not an Amish show? Handmaid's Tale is the story of a girl who is set in this dystopian future where some women cannot give birth. The handmaidens are women who can still give birth, and they're passed around house to house to these people as pretty much not sex slaves, but baby slaves, and pretty much they have to mate with these people, give birth to their child, and then move on to the next house. And these houses that are built, they're like the commanders of the America. Like, America's gone. It's a completely different country now. It's completely ruled in a different set of order and government regulations. And I like these dystopian futures. I like these dystopian, like, what ifs if this happened and what if this happened. And it's just, it's very intriguing. And that's the thing that really hooked me from the start of the show when I started to see that perspective of this world, that it's completely different than ours and it's set way in the future, but not too much in the future, where you could totally see this happening within a year. For all we know, it maybe could. It's very unique to see this world because it's all played out through the main character's eyes. Main character June, played by Elizabeth Moss, who if he has seen her, she's from Mad Men. And I mean, she gives a fantastic performance from here, probably even better than Mad Men. I mean, she was great in Mad Men, but I thought this is probably the best performance I've seen her give. I love the actress, and I was glad that she got a role where she is the front lead. And like I said, the special thing about the show is that it's not showing different perspectives. It's mostly from her eyes, and she's learning just as much as we are, which at times could be my complaint, that I wanted some more of the mythology and more of the government to be shown. But it's also intriguing to see her perspective, because how she reacts is how we would react if this were to happen tomorrow, and just completely like sidewinds and change the world. And the thing that's very clever about the show is that there's a lot of flashbacks that happen in this show that sometimes when it happens in the middle of an episode, sometimes they're very disjointed and very random. And I mean, every episode usually has a flashback, but all of them seem disjointed and random. But for some reason, it feels perfect for that episode, where it doesn't feel random for you. You get the sense of what's going on. You get a sense of this character. You get a sense of this person's backstory. And that's something that a risk that the showrunners and writers took. And I'm sure on paper it seems great, but putting it to film, that's very hard. And I have to give big props to the people who were involved in forming the flashbacks in there, because the flashbacks seem so integrated perfectly that they never were a distraction to the show. And that's something that's a big pro to the show, is there's not one storyline that's happening, one subplot that I was not intrigued in. Every single character is intriguing. Every single plot device, every subplot that happens in the show is intriguing to me, to where I just want to keep watching, and I don't care what character or what story it's focused on at that point. It's all intriguing to me, which is very hard to say because some shows cannot hold that. But this show does. You know, there's always those shows where it's like, it goes to a character and you're like, oh my god, just how long has it been? It's been 5 minutes. It feels like 10 with this character. This show doesn't feel like that. Every episode has such a seamlessly fast-paced, and it is a depressing show at times, but it is a fast-paced, slow burn at times, but the pacing feels so fast that you don't get bored, and sometimes so much stuff happens within 25 minutes of the show that it feels like 40 minutes has passed, but it hasn't. At times that could be a problem, but for this show, it didn't, and it worked completely for me. Elizabeth Moss was not just the only character that gave a fantastic performance. I also have to give a big shout out to my girl. She's from Chuck. She's Chuck alum. If you guys don't know what Chuck is, it's Zachary Levi is playing it, the guy who's playing Shazam now. Chuck is one of my favorite shows of like all time. But Yvonne Stradovich, she played Sarah in that show, and today she's playing Serena. She is the wife of the commander, the girl who pretty much wants a baby from this girl. She's great. I mean, she's fantastic. I wish this actress got more. I know we saw her in Dexter. I know she was rumored for Captain Marvel for a very long time, but I think I was so happy to see that she was in here because I didn't know she was in here. I only knew Elizabeth Moss was, and it was nice to see Yvonne show up because I think the girl deserves more acting credits to her name. Also, I have to give a big shout out to Joseph Fiennes, who plays Fred Waterford, who is the commander of this house. He's the one that also wants the kid. And Max Minghella, who plays Nick Blaine. Great people, but that's not all. The whole supporting cast is great. You have Annie Dowd in here from Leftovers. She plays Aunt Lydia. Samara Willie, who plays Maura, is great. And just going through here, like, I can just go through the amount of names in here, and everyone brings their A game. There was not one weak performance in here, and that's so great to see. You guys can just sit here saying that I love Handmaid's Tale. It's a show that I was so surprised by because I thought it was just an Amish show. I thought it was just something stupid. Then I watched it, and I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. Like, this dystopian future is so real that you can believe that it's happening in real life, but it's also so like unique to its aspect that I've never seen something like this before. Maybe it's just because I'm a sucker for dystopian futures, but I honestly love this show. Now, if I had any cons besides the mythology and wanting a bit more of it, this is more not a con but a worry for the rest of the show is what is going to happen. You know, obviously we're getting a second season in April, but the show felt like it did so much in this season that I'm like, okay, well, how many seasons are you going to do? Because I feel like maybe you could do one more, maybe another one, because I don't think there's enough. There's so much to this world that you could show different characters, but for this main character, I'm just wondering how many seasons are they going to go with. Like I said, that's a worry for later down the road that I'm just going to have trust in the showrunners and hope season 2 is just as good as season 1. Overall, I've always been kind of meh on the Hulu exclusives. I've never been a big fan of them. I've kind of just used Hulu to watch like Community or Broad City and like stuff that I don't catch on TV. But I have to give a big shout out to Hulu. I think this is a knockout of the park. I'm so disappointed in myself for not watching this early. I totally recommend that you guys make sure to go see Handmaid's Tale. Find a way to watch it. And especially if you guys are a student in a college, I hope you guys know that you guys can get Hulu for $5 a month plus with Spotify. So look up that deal. If you're a college student and you didn't know about that, make sure to go check it out because this is a show that I think everyone needs to watch and everyone needs to enjoy and see how unique it is to the tale. And especially if you're a film fan, I think the way that the story is told can help you think of like how to write a story, especially with the flashbacks. I'm so impressed by that. With all that said, guys, I'm not going to give this a letter rating. I'm going to start implementing a new rating system, at least for TV shows and video games right now. Maybe I'll move it into the movies. We're still deciding. I'm still deciding on that, actually. But right now, I'll probably do a video later on explaining this new system. But for this show, I'm going to say binge it. This is the highest rating I could give it. Binge the show, please. Don't even waste time. Don't hesitate. Check out the show. It's not an Amish show. I promise. Tell me, guys, have you guys already seen the show? Make sure to comment down below and tell me what are your guys' thoughts of The Handmaid's Tale. Did you not like it? Were you guys not excited about it as much as I was? To tell you the truth, I guess going into it with like zero expectation, just knowing there's something special about the show with the awards, I must like it for some reason. But guys, I'm curious to hear what you guys say. I'm curious to see if you guys have seen it or if you haven't. But make sure to comment down below and let's start that discussion down below. As always, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, especially if you're new. And make sure to go check out Sandwich on Films down below where you can find advanced screens, movie news, and movie reviews. Make sure to go check us out down below. But until next time, stay classy.